you what I've got here. So I have some oats. So this is simply porridge oats in here. So I can show you that a bit closer when I'm mixing it all together. So there's porridge oats. There's a bit of black pepper over here. There's a bit of pink salt, Himalayan pink salt over here. I have a bit of rice over here. Ooh. Rice on a plate over here. I have some leaves, dried tree leaves. So there's a bit of oak leaves in there. I have some rowan berries, I believe, somewhere here. I have some dried nettle, which I've collected. So all of these are gonna go into this mix. There's some dried rose petals here. There's some dried marigold here. So marigold, if you can see that, marigold is such a beautiful golden flower. So marigold connects with solar energy, sun energy. And Lu, the Celtic deity who rules this festival, he is a solar deity. So hence we're going to tap into his energy by using some marigold. So that's a little bit of that's going to go in there. I have some omega mix. So that's just a bunch of, it says sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, golden and brown linseeds. Okay, I have, you can also use any form of cereal. So I do have some cereal here. Oh, that's the rowan berries, dried rowan berries. And simply some cereal here, so some wheat, malt wheaties or whatever you call it, shreddies, whatever. So there's some cereal, so I'm going to pop that in first. So this is Harvest King Protection Powder that we're going to be making. So I'm going to start with the cereal. So now I'm going to flip the camera so you can see what I'm doing. And I almost forgot I have another mixture over here. So this was gifted to me. It says Good Gut. So it's a mixture of whole grains, legumes, lion's mane, mushroom, nuts, seeds, goji berries. Okay, so that's more seeds. So I've got a lot of seeds. Seeds are very important when we're connecting with harvest energy. So this is the harvest that we want them to connect with. So I'm gonna now flip the camera downwards so you won't see my beautiful face, but you will see what I'm mixing in the cauldron. Just popped some cereal in here, so I'm going to crush that up, and that's going to be part of the magical mixture. Okay, and as you can see, there's a comment. So Kianvra, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, says, yo, how you doing? Good, thank you, very good. So this is just a mixture for a recipe. So if you want to follow along or repeat it later on, you can do. So it's just using regular household items. So basically this mixture that we're going to be making, you can use it for luck and protection. So it can be carried, you can scatter it in your doorways, windows, around the outsides of the house, just to create a protective barrier. Okay. So it's just using, like I said, simple items. So this is the first harvest we're in now. So this is the first harvest. So just by using simple items, look, like cereal and seeds. And porridge oats over here. So we're just going to mix all of this together, and this is going to give us our Harvest King of Protection powder. Okay, yeah, bran flakes will do, any form of cereal. So the important thing why we're using cereal is because this is the time of the harvest. So cereal, obviously, that is a thing that grows. So that is something that will be harvested at this time of the year. So this is where this connection comes from. So by using all of this in your mixture, you're then tapping into that same energy of the harvest. And we're calling upon the powers that be to empower us with their protection at the time of the harvest. Okay? And the good thing is you can make the mixture now. You can make the mixture now, and you can use it throughout the whole year. So you don't just have to use the mixture at the harvest. Can I use the cereal crave? Yeah. Yeah, you can use any cereal pretty much. Any cereal will do. Okay. So let me just see if I can crush this up, because I don't have my pestle and mortar handy. I've recently moved home, so I've no clue where that pestle and mortar is hidden. But yeah, this is working. So just crushing this in this little cauldron here. So if you don't have a cauldron, just use a dish. Any dish will do. So crush that in a bit. Push that up. So I also brought a fork because I didn't trust that the wooden spoon would quite cut it by crushing it up. So we're just crushing up the cereal and putting your intentions in there. Yep, Cocoa Pops will do as well. Any form of cereal. So crushing up the cereal in the dish. It's making a nice ringing sound. So crushing up the cereal as much as you can, because we want this to be like a powder that we can sprinkle about the place. So now that that's crushed up a bit, this is sprinkle. We're able to sprinkle this. Okay. So next I'm going to pop in some of the porridge oats. Porridge oats, stir that in. So that's mixed in nicely. It's a bit easier to like crush up the rest of the cereal now that you've added other stuff to it. So crushing that up nicely. This is a bit like ASMR, I guess. Some people may like these sounds. So crushing up this cereal, porridge oats and cereal, push it all up in there. And then making a mess. Oops, I'll have to get hoovered up after. Alright, and I have some rice here. So just adding in some rice. Rice is a magical item. Yes, it is food, as is the cereal. But this is the beauty of Magick. All of these things are regular items that you can see day to day. But everything can be used in Magick. Alright, I want some... Let's get some of these beautiful seeds. So I've got a ton of these seeds here. I'm just making up some Harvest King of Protection powder. So this contains cereal and porridge oats is what's been popped into here at the moment. So just plain cereal like what you eat on the morning. So that has been crushed up in this dish or cauldron it is. And I've mixed in porridge oats as well. And next I'm going to add in some seed mix. So it's sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, linseed. So bear with me a moment. I'll prop that there, and I'll drop the seeds in. Because every time I put my phone in the tripod, it disconnects the live. But put in a ton of seeds. So dropped in seeds there, as you can see. So let's give that a stir now. crush it all in. So this is looking good. So again, thinking about your intentions. So we're making this mixture so we can use it later for protection, and we're calling upon all of these natural ingredients which grow in the earth or upon this earth. These natural ingredients grow, and we're using their natural earth energy in plant magic. Okay. Okay, so in the other recipe, in the original recipe, I believe the recipe that I first used was by Cassandra Eason. So she has quite a few books. Drops it. So the recipe, she says you can add in some basil. I've not got basil to hand, so I'm gonna add in some nettle instead. So nettle is another good herb for protection. So I'm gonna put that nettle in there, and then we can stir it in. So yeah, it's got nice green nettle in there. Oh, it smells. It's got nice aroma, the nettle. I don't know how many people like nettle tea, but I'm one of those people. Nettle goes nicely in the tea with lavender, nettle and lavender. I actually have some nettle and matcha green tea downstairs, which I got from the store, but you can literally just get nettles from your garden. As long as your garden's clean, you can just dry out the nettles and drink that. Okay, so this is a mixture for the harvest protection mix. Okay. So it's protection mixture. Okay. So thinking about your intentions. Okay. So again, giving it a stir. So we have in here. So if you missed the video or the stream from earlier, we've put in cereal in here. So crushed up cereal, put porridge oats. We've put a ton of different seeds, sunflower seeds, linseeds. So this is all mixed up in this harvest protection mix. Okay. And here we have it. Right, so let's see what we want to put in here next. I want to put more seeds in. I'm really liking the seed energy. So the important thing about the harvest and seeds is seeds are planted in the dark. So this is an important thing that we can literally meditate and think about and really have a good think about this. Seeds are planted in the dark. So is this magic says trees are green? Yeah, this is harvest magic. So in here we have some cereal, we have seeds, we have oats as well. So this is magic for tapping into the harvest magic. This recipe is called Harvest King of Protection. So it's originally created by Cassandra Eason, but I'm adding my own flair to it. Okay, so seeds an important thing about seeds, seeds fear neither the light nor darkness, but they use both to grow. So this is a quote that I've seen, and I think this is very, very relevant for us all. Okay, so Teresa Green says, my granddad uses something like this. Brilliant. So a bit of like folk magic or something along those lines. That's brilliant. So yeah, anyone can use this. Anyone can make their own. The biggest pumpkins in all the allotments. Fabulous. Wow, I'd love those come Halloween time. Okay, so this is the mixture. So I'm going to pop some more seeds in here if we can get this bag open. So I'm doing all of this with one hand. But it makes it more fun. So I'm going to pop the camera down again so you can look into that. Look at the seeds a moment while I get more seeds to pour in here. So the mixture that I'm putting in now, it is a mixture of whole grains, legumes, lion mane, mushroom, nuts, seeds and goji berries. So very good stuff. I do love goji berries, to be fair. Goji berries are very nice. If you've not tried them before, I would suggest you try it. Okay. So we're getting a big cauldron full of mixture here. So getting this all stirred in. So this is even better if you have a pestle and mortar. I've not got mine at hand at the moment, hence why I'm just using a wooden spoon in a cauldron. Making a bit of a mess, as you can see. I'm going to have to hoover this up. Never mind. So harvesting of protection powder. Brilliant. So next I'm going to pop in some black pepper. Pepper is a brilliant magical herb or plant that you can use for protection. So just be careful that you don't get it in your eye or you don't get it up your nose because it will make you sneeze. Alright, so yeah, that's quite a lot of black pepper, so we'll stir that in. So also be careful if you're using your hands as well after you add the black pepper. Be careful, if you put your hands in there and then touch your eyes or something like that, because that will sting a lot. Okay. Okay, very good. So this is what we have so far. Okay, so next I want to put in some rowan. So rowan is a beautiful tree. So it has red berries, very bright red berries. You actually can cook with rowan berries. I guess if you know what you're doing. But yeah, rowan is something that I put in any form of protection mix. Then I would add it into here. Okay, so that's just some dried up rowan berries going into the mix, and there's some rowan leaves as well. So rowan berries and rowan leaves, dried up. So it's all going in there. Okay. Wow, there's quite some big nuts in there. They'll need crushing down a bit more. A bit later. Probably, like if you're putting in big nuts like that, then you probably will need that pestle and mortar. But just for the purposes of this video, I don't have the pestle and mortar to hand. So yeah, just remember, if you're following my instructions, to give them a good crush. Like if you're adding nuts in, give it a good crush afterwards. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to add more porridge oats in here. So I'm going to have a ton of mix here. But it's good if you make a big mixture like this, because once the mix is made, you can then offer it to friends and family. Give them just a little bag of it so they can put it on their doorways, or put it around their properties, or even carry it in a pouch if they feel they need some added protection. Okay, so I'm making a bit of a mess. Okay. So Bradley says hi. What do you mean by that? So this mixture here, this is a magical mixture that we can make for protection, basically. So it's natural magic using natural ingredients. Right. Must remember not to touch your eyes if you've put black pepper in here like I've done, because that will sting like a bugger. Okay. So this is the mix in there. So next I want to add some marigold. So these are marigold flowers. So I'm going to add some of this to the mix. Maybe not the big massive flowers, because then we'd have a similar problem to the nuts. So what is that? What is that? So what is the marigold, or what is the mixture? So the mixture here is Harvest King of Protection powder. So it's used for magic, protection magic. Marigold is used for all sorts. So you can make it into a syrup if you like. It's a nice flower which you can grow in your garden. Because it's so golden and bright, it connects with solar energy. So it can be used in magic where you need to connect with the sun's energy. Okay. Right, so I'm going to pop this down so you can have a look in there again, and I'm going to grab some marigold out of this jar. Okay. So I'm going to grab a pinch of marigold and then drop it in. So here you can see this is some marigold. So drop that in there. And then, alright, so we got a few bigger pieces in there then. So break those bigger pieces up. So that's all added in there. So next let's try to stir it all in again. Stirring all of this in, the Harvest King of Protection powder. And if you make a mess like I do, make sure you clean it up afterwards. Okay. Alright. So if you're starting watching this at this point and you've missed what's happened beforehand, so I'll give you a run of what has gone into this mixture. So in this mixture we have cereal ground up, we have porridge oats, we have seeds. So there's sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, linseed. There is a bit of marigold thrown in here as well. Marigold the flower. There is black pepper in here. Black pepper. There is some rowan in here, so rowan leaves, rowan berries. So all of this is added into this mixture for protection. So the aim of it is to gather all of these magical items, gather them together, crush it up into a powder, and then in there you have it. So once you have your mixture like this, once you have your powder, you can then say a few words over it. You could say a magical spell, if you like, or say a few rhyming words, or do a bit of chanting, like earth, the air, water, fire, earth, air, water, fire, or the earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. Aye, ayo, 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 ayo. Aye, ayo, 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 ayo. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. So just by repeating that chant and by stirring the mixture, you're then pushing the energy into the herbal mixture. So that's the same sort of principle you'd use if you was like making a potion or stirring a magical tea. Okay. So here you have the Harvest King of Protection powder. So it's quite lumpy at the moment. So it's not very... You better bloody eat that. I won't be eating this, no. But don't worry, it's going to go to good use. It will go to good use. And this mixture will be protecting my family. Okay, so there you have it. That's Harvest King of Protection powder. So wishing everyone a blessed harvest. Thank you for tuning in. Do check out some of the other videos. If you did like this, then hit that like button. Thank you. And I wish you all farewell, brightest blessings. Oh, I'll flip the camera so you can say goodbye. Oh gosh. Goodbye. Goodbye all.